Hey everyone, welcome back to Owl Dragon Adventures. I'm Rob McPherson, and today I'm going to be doing a solo review of Burncycle, the solo mode. So today I'm going to talk about Burncycle, which is a new game by Chip Theory Games. Just started shipping about a month or so ago. I was able to go ahead and get a pre-order in, I believe it was earlier this year. I think it was in January timeframe. And, much like I am akin to do, I went all in. The only things I did not get was the game mat and the bag, and I actually have no regrets or FOMO on that. So, hey, bonuses. I did, however, pick up the extra specialists that came with it, which was a couple of extra bots that you get to play. I did pick up the extra corporation, which is extra enemies that you get to go through in the different scenarios. And I, of course, picked up the Brass Mag minis because I love me some minis, and these are gorgeous. So Burncycle is a stealth puzzle adventure game. It's kind of like a dungeon crawl with a puzzle mechanic. So the idea is that it's the year, forgive me if I'm wrong, it's the year 3000, and you are playing as part of the robot resistance, because 300 years earlier, you and all your benevolence had resurrected the humans from their extinction event, and as thanks for that, they enslaved the entire robot society that was thriving at the time. So you've come up with a workaround, and now you're fighting back, trying to get back your autonomy that was lost. So it's a fun little twist on the robot uprising idea, and Burncycle has done a great job of bringing that essence into the game. So the gameplay of this game is, well, it's pretty standard Chip Theory. It's not easy, it's not simple, but it is brilliant in its own way. So you have a set of action dice that you get depending on the power levels that you have, and by rolling those dice and spending that pool of action points you get, you can do pretty much anything on the board. You can move, you can interact with keypads or terminals, you can pick up network cards, etc. You move around and you have different objectives that you're trying to meet. It could be shutting down terminals, it could be stealing some caches. There's 28 different cards that you can play through, adventures you can play through in the game. So you have a wide variety of choices. Then in the second half of your turn, this is where it gets really unique. You go into the network, and you have this network path that you have to move your ping around. And depending on where you land on there, you can get upgrades like extra power, or you can upgrade your network level. So in case the CEO starts hunting you down and comes across your ping, you can boot them out before they boot you out. It's a really clever mechanic. The whole game is mitigated by the titular mechanic, the Burncycle, which is a series of chips that tell you what type of actions you are optimizing in any given turn. It's the robot's way of getting around their programming. The downside is at the end of every one of your turns, you have to roll the degrading dice and degrade the Burncycle, which means you're removing one of those chips. So you have to constantly replenish it, and it's a little bit of a tug of war in there that gives you a bit of a timer before you have to really up threat by rebooting the Burncycle. Gameplay for me has to be a high. I have played this solo more than any other game, with the exception of probably a couple of roll-and-writes at this point. And it's a beast to set up, but it doesn't matter. This hits my table all the time. I love the stealth gameplay. I love the puzzle of trying to figure out how to get past the guards as they're moving around. It's just a really, really solid game. Accessibility. Sorry, Chip Theory, I gotta give you a low on the accessibility on this one. I will say, it's a higher accessibility than I'll give Cloudspire, another title by Chip Theory, but it's a very dense game. I would not throw this at anybody who has not been board gaming for a while, or who's not just eager to dive into those hefty mechanics. There's a lot going on, and to make it even more complicated, it's an asymmetric game, so we're all playing different bots. Solo, if you're going to dive into this solo experience, it's just not going to happen in my opinion. You got to watch a ton of videos on it. So I'm going to give it a low to mid accessibility. It's more accessible than some of their titles, but it's really hard to dive into, but worth every minute of it. Design. It's Chip Theory. they put so much thought into their design. Everything here looks techno. It looks that that futuristic kind of sci-fi look to it. You really see the network kind of laid out. The design of the minis are gorgeous. Their desire to, or their decision to coat them in bronze gives them, or brass rather, gives them an even better and cooler look. There's magnets in the base of the minis which stick to their chips, so you don't have to give up the chip that you have for each of them. And actually, as cool as the minis are, the guards do add value because they let you remember which way the guards are facing, which does help with the stealth mechanic. Design, I've got to give it a really big high. Quality. I feel like if you've ever seen a chip theory game, you know where I'm going with this one. It's going to be a high, no questions asked. Double-sided neoprene with the nylon coating, surged edges, high-quality resin chips that are weighted with metal. Just anything you can ask for. The only slight ding that I give chip theory games, and this is so minor, is that they are screen printed dice, so they could be engraved, but that's I think a matter of aesthetics anyways. I prefer engraved dice, but everything is just absolutely gorgeous. There's just no beating chip theory in my opinion. They are the bespoke game makers out there, so it's got to be a high for that. Value is gonna be hard. So I went all in, as I said. That being said, I went all in, and for under $250, I got everything here shipped to me. You can get everything, including the mat and the bag, for I think it's like $325 or something like that. So you're going to want to get this to the table often if you decide to spend that much money. Luckily for me, I've gotten it to the table. As I said, I think it's 10 times solo now, and 3 or 4 times co-op. And in fact, we're probably going to be breaking it out again later this week. It's just such a fun puzzle. There's just a lot to it that is, lets you sink your teeth in. Every game is a little bit different because of the dice rolls or which guards you happen to pull. So I'm going to give it a high value with the stipulation that you have to know that you are paying for a bespoke game. So you're getting, the materials are there. The quality is there that you're paying for. But if you're not going to table a heavy game often, then maybe the value is not there for you. But it absolutely was for me. So, and kind of a repeat of our Too Many Bones video, spoiler if you haven't seen that one yet. But even though I did ding it on accessibility, gameplay and quality and design is so high for me that I am still going to rate this. This is going to be one of my very few that I do this. I'm going to rate this a full 10. I don't know, maybe it just speaks to me personally. There's a timer mechanic that I don't usually like, but there's the mitigation which helps me like it. It hits everything so nicely. And if you're watching this video before, I think it's mid-July, there's a new game found hitting where you'll be able to get a reprint of Burncycle plus some new bots that they're adding in as well. So you already know where some of my money's going. So that's Burncycle by Chip Theory Games. In case you can't tell, I kind of have a little bit of a crush on Chip Theory Games. They are my favorite designer out there, my favorite publisher out there, I should say. Burncycle is another, they knocked it out of the park with this one. Brilliant game. Great job, guys. Keep it up. I look forward to giving you way too much money when your Elder Scrolls game comes out or hits Kickstarter later this year. So that's Burncycle solo review. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on our adventures.